Good morning.
Good morning.
It is not morning for us. It is way too hot and sweaty right now to be doing a coffee with the Crockers. We'll do a water.
Yeah.
The moral of the story already is I think we messed up.
Yeah.
This is not good.
It's not what Jason wanted.
No, took a full sawdust bath this morning. Well, today.
Lessons were learned.
Oh, it has been a total nightmare trying to do this. And there are easier ways to do it. I just don't think it would be the stronger way of doing things.
Big old chunk of wood in your ear.
I'm sure.
Just don't push it.
I got it. I'll be picking sawdust out of every hole in my face for a good while, but we are trying our best to do this, and it's gotten to the point where it's just like, let's just stop. Let's figure a different way out, because it's not hard. It's tedious. It's so slow going, and you got to do so many. It's the same thing over and over and over.
It's a lot of steps for one thing that's this big,
and that we're hoping works.
Yeah. And this is the dilemma with the circle.
You guys will see, on the Crockers, more
Which I know
detail.
A lot of people were saying, well, look at this person, they did this. It is very different on a concrete slab versus the deck.
Insanely different.
So
we didn't invent the wheel here. The wheel was already made, and unfortunately the wheel is circled, and so is our house. It's pretty windy too. Hopefully you guys can hear, but we got to come up with new ways to figure this out on a wooden deck. Do we regret not doing a slab? Not fully yet. I feel like it probably would have been easier.
So the slab is a more expensive option.
Yeah, and then also if you're trying to do a round slab, they may not fit it on there perfectly. We went with what the expert told us.
Yeah, which we could have done a square slab, but again, too.
But if you did a square slab, then you got to figure out how to not let it leak in.
Yeah.
And then also cement, it soaks water up. It holds moisture and all that. So you have to seal it a certain way, but normally when you do like a slab house or a house on a slab, you have concrete floors. They smooth it real good, and then they seal it really good, because the outer ring of it, water's not coming in. It'd only be from the ground up. And then that's why they put vapor barrier, like plastic and stuff, underneath the concrete, and then pouring all that stuff keeps the moisture from coming up. But if we did that on a big rectangle slab and put a circle on it, water could still get in. So then, now we know. We didn't really know then. We knew nothing. It's kind of the way of not inventing, but coming up with something new to us. If we could turn back time, it would have been a lot more money up front and stuff, but whatever. I would have done a rectangle slab. I would have put the bin on it, bolted it down to the slab, and then poured another 2 inches up on the inside. So technically,
how would you even do that? Get a truck come in?
A truck would have to come in and through the door, put it in, and then smooth it out, which would be, unless you're really good at it, we would have had to hire a crew to do all of it, which would have been a lot extra.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking a 32 by 32 foot slab that would have to be, probably 4 inches thick, and then on the inside of the house, come back and pour again and do another like 2 inches up or something.
Yeah.
And I don't trust a dry pour and us getting it smooth and doing all that stuff. So at this point, I don't know. Danielle asked earlier, so will the deck be strong enough to hold all the weight as we're adding and adding and adding? I do think yes, the way it's built, but also from the very beginning, we never really talked about it. It's just gonna be more of why talk about it and try to explain it when we're not even there yet. And so around the entire ring where the deck sits on the square and you got your ring, we were already planning on going wherever that ring hit the wood is where most of all your walls are going to hold the weight, your middle of the floor, it'll hold weight, but only so much. So if you beef up, so you go underneath and you use cinder blocks or, more 6x6 post or whatever you want to do, you can do whatever you want. Go under and beef up all the way around the outside perimeter of the bin. That's going to hold all the weight. And then your deck, you just have to keep it sealed and do as much as you can to preserve it. It's like I told Danielle earlier, at some point it's going to rot. Just like old houses that are 100 years old and people are buying them and having to redo the floors because they were built pier and beam. Eventually it's going to rot. It's wood. That's what whatever. But nowadays, wood is treated better than it was 100 years ago. So I think personally, as long as we keep up with the deck, we seal it. We haven't sealed it yet. We will here shortly. Seal it up, and then at minimum once a year, go through and just seal it up again on the outside. Which again, you saw with the sprayer and a roller, it would take us an hour tops. Once a year, maybe even twice a year if we're trying to be over the top with it, which whatever.
Yeah, that part of maintenance won't be bad at all. That was a genius idea to do it that way. It truly smooth sailing. Yeah,
I was thinking at first just put it in, and again, we're not probably the first people to ever do that. It's just something that we thought of, but I was thinking at first we'll just pour it in a paint thing, get a roller and roll it in it, and then do it, which would probably work good, but I feel like a lot of it would kind of be wasted. It wouldn't be distributed like a sprayer. But at this point, even at this point, you guys have seen the grain bin that we went to. You saw the whole thing. You saw the whole layout. You saw, if you watched the Crocker Life, us talking about the layout, it should make a lot more sense now. We left the last video, not the tour video, but the one before that, on do we have to build our walls now? Do we have to build our walls before finishing the floor? And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I've had zero time to look at your comments. We literally drove down to Texas, came back.
Yeah, and that drive got us.
It wore us out big time.
Yeah.
It was about 5.5 hours, and then we weren't even expecting to drive, so we were already out here. And then after going, and I don't even remember if we got materials that day or not, but let's say we did, that was already an hour drive on top of that. And so it was just a lot, wore us out. But being there and seeing it and seeing how we want everything, I think we dialed in our layout a lot better. And then especially can see the difference between how much room the other house, which I
can't remember how big it was.
I want to say we thought it was 4 feet larger, and I think it was 4 feet larger. Like you have four extra feet all the way around, so it'd be technically 8 feet, so 32, and ours is 24, which made a massive difference. An insanely,
like, you would not think that much.
It was drastically bigger.
Yeah, but like I could have sworn when we were in it, we measured, we're like, oh, that's not much bigger than ours.
Oh, I don't know. Whatever it was drastic.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
Yeah, whatever it was drastic.
Yeah, the difference between the two bins is crazy.
Yeah, and if it really is only 4 feet, like a 28-foot, dang, that was a massive difference.
But I will tell you, the one we went to just now, the one that is our size, the Laughing Llama Farm silo, just the feeling of it. Obviously, the other one, yes, was a lot bigger and like, I guess bougier. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember if we kind of talked on this in the last Off the Crockers.
I don't know.
To an extent, you can still say what you're saying. We just won't go into crazy detail.
It just feels better. The one our size, it truly just felt right. I don't know how to describe it.
I think what we said was it felt more obtainable.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was Off the Crockers thing. It was.
Yeah.
Maybe that was Crocker Life. I don't know. We have too many channels. But it felt a lot more obtainable. It felt more homey. It felt more our style. We wouldn't do our kitchen like that.
Yeah.
But the rest of the house was close.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about this now. the ceiling on it,
Oh, yeah.
a little trippy.
Yeah, when you lay in bed at night and you looked up, like it looked like you're getting sucked into a vortex.
I felt like I was on drugs.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like, what? You know, it almost made you a little dizzy looking
Yeah,
at
it did. It was just like, holy cow, did I do some psychedelics? You know, y'all watch movies. Some of y'all done them, but you watch the movies and it's like, what's that cartoon? Alice in Wonderland, where it's kind of like, woo,
a little
like,
trippy.
Yeah, that's what it felt like looking at it. And I think
wild.
because it was going to a point all the way around, but then the colors and it really, and then the way the fan looked at the top, like it was trippy. But then I woke up in the morning and you were still asleep, and I woke up and I was like, all right, I'm gonna sneak down, go to the bathroom, take a shower, stuff. And I woke up and I looked, and I'm like, because it had the puck lights, I'm like, that looks like a freaking UFO. Like if you were under the influence, maybe drinking a little too much, and you woke up, you'd think there was an alien above you. It was a good thing for us. I think, again, we're not bashing it whatsoever.
Oh, no.
It fit that.
That was like perfect vibe for that.
Oh, it fit that perfect. But for us, we had already kind of thought about doing drywall on the ceiling. I don't know if that'd be too much drywall. But
I don't know, and then like maybe some like beam looking things
faux
to
beams or something.
Break it up.
But if we do wood, I'm definitely in my head figuring out a different way to do the wood. Well, first off, we wouldn't do the that was more of like a reclaimed wood look. Some of it I think they painted, but some of it could have been old barn wood, stuff like that. It was definitely all of it was weathered and grayed, but they threw different pops of color in it. We would do something different than that. Make it not that whole thing. The whole place is awesome, but I don't think ours will be as rustic. Ours will be a little more mod. Like theirs, they had cedar posts. We have 6x6 posts, stuff like that. Where we have like the black hardware on the porch. Theirs was more the rustic style. The roofing, we're gonna have more of the modern metal. They had the galvanized that kind of matches the bend more. Again, nothing wrong with it. It fit their property absolutely perfect.
And again, loved it.
Oh yeah, it was great. We just already here started going a little bit more modern with it. Still very rustic, a little more modern. So
little farmhouse modern.
Yeah, it was a little.
We're doing a little.
Theirs was more
ranch.
like
theirs is a ranch house.
Ranch and then live edge. They had like their
ours is farmhouse modern.
Modern farmhouse.
Yeah.
Modern rustic. But I don't know. It really gave us a lot to think about. And then I kind of was, before we left, I was freaking out like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to figure out the floor plan. We're going to have to know where the windows are going. We got to build these walls. We got to do all this to figure out how to fit the curve good. And again, the drive sucked. We're not good at long drives anymore.
It's crazy. I used to be road trip champ.
Oh, you could jump in a car, both of us, and drive 12 hours like it was nothing, and then still be ready to like hit some trails or do whatever.
My record is I drove 18 hours straight with only 2 stops for gas and TT.
I don't think I've gone that far, but that's a lot of driving.
Yeah.
I think that's technically illegal if you were a truck driver.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I think truck drivers are only legally able to drive like 12 hours or something, and then they have to rest for so long.
Now I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah, it was hard to do, but it was plenty of time to think, and it really gave us time to think it over, and then when we got back, then we had to go get materials. We're always driving and thinking, and I took measurements before we left. Well, I wrote down the measurements. We took them, but I wrote them down, and I was able to look back at that, and it really just gave us enough time and references to go off of to really figure it out. And then I believe it was Dawn, Irene's sister. She had messaged about a channel that we can get some information from, and I can't remember off the top of my head, Blue Room Studio or something like that.
Yeah.
And they built a grain bin, which I actually had watched videos of, and then they commented on our video. It's like, hey, someone reached out, told us to get in contact with you. If you need any advice, let us know. So that was super awesome.
Yeah, so nice.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways we could do it. And then today I went into it gung-ho thinking, all right, we got the idea, we got it figured out, let's do it. And then it was like nightmare. It was just trouble. And then, and then covered in sawdust, and it was just not going well. And then we figured out a little bit better. And then, it was just, I think these are the times, not that we're better than anybody, we are, but, no, I'm just kidding. Not that we are better than anyone, but I do think we're the type of people that make it. And it got to the point where I was just like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. We did a couple of them. I'm like, we got to find a better way. We got to find an easier way. And it's like, sometimes the good things in life aren't easy. Sometimes, that's what I told Danielle. I said, if it was easy, everyone would do this. Yeah. And we are going to pave the way for some people that are building a grain bin on a deck or any type of circle structure on a deck, and they have to build a floor. We'll go ahead and be the guinea pigs. We'll do it the hard way, and then we'll show other people how to do it. And most people, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, most people would have stopped and quit a long time ago on it because it wasn't easy. It's more effort than they'd want to put into it. But at the end of the day, if you want to stand out and you want to do more than everybody, or you want to go further in life and whatever you're doing,
you want to achieve your dreams, your goals,
you gotta keep going when it's hard. And again, there's a reason why discipline, resilience, all that type of stuff. Whenever you're talking to people that like have made it or are coaching people to make it or whatever, they're gonna be like, you just have to be resilient. You gotta be strict with what you're doing. You gotta keep going you keep pushing when you don't want to do it. You have to try something new. You gotta take the risk. You gotta step outside your comfort zone. Because all of that, I'm sure I've said it before, it's really not hard to make it in this world. It really isn't. I see people all the time complaining, but it's the same people that are complaining are the ones that never do anything. And it really is not that hard to go after a dream. It's really not that hard to go after what you want. It's really not that hard. The hard part is to keep going when it gets difficult. And too many people are just lazy. There ain't no way around it. You're just lazy. People that have jobs that are like, oh, you're just lucky. Well, go find another job. Well, you're lucky you had the opportunity to buy that land. Well, I started out with owner finance and put a shed on a building, and then
nothing to do with luck, and more so hard work.
Yeah, luck is, everyone has luck. It's just, what are you going to do when that luck pops up? A lot of people will be like, oh, I wish I could buy this right now, but I don't have the money. Well, that was your luck to find it. You just weren't prepared. You didn't have the money saved up. And I know some people are already mad, and well, some of us live on fixed income. I get that, but you shouldn't have been on fixed income your entire life. At some point in your life, you probably could have took a risk and you didn't. I'm not saying if you don't have the life you want now, because some people, they get injured or whatever, and it can just completely change their whole life. I'm just saying, if you never did anything in their life, we have this really good saying: you can either complain or you can be lazy, but you can't be both. If you're lazy, you can't complain about stuff that you don't have, and the opposite way around too.
If you're doing stuff, you can complain.
Yeah, you have every right to complain.
That's one thing, we do sit and talk and do these, and it might seem like we're complaining.
We're just venting, really.
But again, we're doing the thing.
Yes, so you have the opportunity.
So we're going to talk about how hard it is.
But we're going to keep doing it.
We're going to keep doing it. Now,
and we've been
in this
doing it.
Example, if we were just sitting on our butts all day and then coming on here and talking and complaining, that's where you'd have no right, basically. To
in our opinion.
And that's the way our
This is our channel, it's our opinion.
Welcome to it.
Yeah, they should already know by now. But that is a huge thing for us. It's like, you can either complain or you can be lazy, but you can't do both. Mm-hmm. And we will sit here and complain about stuff that we have done and have to do, because we know at the end of the day we're gonna do it. And it may take us to the end of the day to get up and do it, but we'll do it. Yeah. And I'm a big believer in the same thing is, I'm a college dropout. The only reason I went to school is because my parents forced me to go. And then I dropped out of college. Lucky for you, you're a little bit smarter. You can retain the information. You're good at all of that. And it was still something you had to work for and all that. But I knew there's no way. I barely made it out of high school. I'm not going to make it through college. What am I going to do? So I started working these jobs that were literally paying barely. I started, my first jobs were minimum wage, and then I worked my way up and started making a little more minimum wage, and then I was working literally 12 and 14 hours a day, working one job, not making anything, barely making it, and then I was like, quitting this job, I'm going to do this job, got paid more, and then as things were going well, then guess what? Company went under. No longer had a job, didn't have the good pay, didn't have all the benefits, didn't have all that stuff. So I was like, what can I do? So I got on unemployment to make sure I could still pay my bills, which unemployment's the biggest joke ever. I think that's the biggest waste of our tax-paying money.
Well, it's there if it's used properly,
but it's
for a
not.
good reason.
It's not.
But it's, a lot of times it is taken advantage of.
And I'll say this, I saw it firsthand. I would call, all you had to do was call every week or 2 weeks, and it was like a 1-800 number, and it would ask you, how many jobs did you apply for? And then you'd type in 3, because that was the minimum. And then it'd be like, call back in 2 weeks. Never, no proof, no nothing. So, it's going off a percentage of the last job you had. And I mean, you could do that for a long time. You could do it for...
you didn't do it.
No,
yeah.
You could do it for a long time. And so I was like, I do not want to live off of this. So at that point, I got on Craigslist, because that's what was around at that time. Still around, but that's how I found a job. And it was to do aviation services, something like that. I forgot what it was. It was airplane stuff. Went to the interview. They didn't tell me what the job was. And then they just said, show up at the airport at this time. Cool. Showed up. Had to get background checked, all that stuff. Went down, and I had to hand wash commercial airliners. Literally, the airplanes we go on vacation and fly to Florida and all that stuff in, I was in the middle of the night. I would go at
make sure you say
I would go at 8 p.m. and wash airplanes to about 4 in the morning, and then I would come home, and then I would sleep if I was lucky for a couple hours. If not, I had to wait till the sun came up. Then I would I would walk neighborhoods and pass out flyers on doors, and then I would come home, and then in the little bit of time frame that I had, or the days off that I had, I would record music for random local small artists. And so at the time I was doing like 3 jobs to not be on unemployment, to try to make enough money to pay my bills and try to save up enough money so I could take the time to try to find a better job. And then I got a job that wasn't the best paying. I worked there for years at the dog place because I was like, you know what, it's okay to not make as much money as long as I make it to do a job that I love. I love animals. I want to do it. And then after a couple of years, I maxed out. I did as much as I could. It iced over really bad. This is the whole history of my life. Got iced over real bad. They said either you come into work an hour drive, that's normal hour drive, but in ice, or you don't have a job anymore. I was living with Jared. Jared and I had a house together, and we were just renting it. And I just said, guess I done got a job. And so Jared and I had picked up a pallet a little bit before that. We turned it into a wine rack, put it online. Someone wanted to buy it, and I was like, maybe I can make money. So then I started making my own woodworking and selling it online, and then that was the job for 2 years, something like that. I don't know.
What's crazy is some people have been around since then.
I know, since Crocker Twin Creations. Y'all know when I started doing that. Then I was like, I don't want to do this forever. What's something that I love? I love doing the woodworking, but then it became a job. And so I started doing that, and then I was like, what do I want to do? I was like, well, I would love to be back in the music stuff. I was in a band, but I don't want to be in a band. You make no money. I wasn't good enough. What can I do? So got a camera, started doing work. and then started working for Bowling for Soup, doing stuff like that. Worked my way up. I mean, literally, no one handed me that. I spent hours and hours and hours figuring it out. Sent it to them. Everyone was telling me I was stupid. Sent it to the band. Next thing I know, I'm working with them. Next thing I know, I'm doing tours, doing the biggest tours that you can think of that I always wanted to play on, being in the band. And then after that, I got tired of that. So I was like, all right, how can I get out of this? It's just being on the road all the time kind of sucks. You know, like, that lifestyle is more about the experience, not so much the money. And so then YouTube kind of became a thing. I would work 3 months? Yeah, I would work 3 months to make $100. 3 months.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was all month. I don't remember. I think it took me 3 months at first to make $100. I know how it is to sacrifice. I know how it is to want something and have to work through it.
Yeah,
most people don't know my full history.
It wasn't handed to you.
Yeah.
My full history, too.
Everything was handed to you. You lucky.
Well, I was a nanny, and I was also worked night shift as a tech while going to nursing school, too. Not a lot of people realize that. I don't even think my family realized I did all that, too. And then I graduated number 1 in my class.
There were 2 people, but whatever.
Yeah, but still, that's number 1. No.
In college?
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
I married number 1.
In nursing school.
And I was last because I dropped out.
Yeah. Yeah, believe it or not.
Opposites attract.
But then I had 2 jobs too, and one of those was night shift while going to nursing school and being top of the class. I don't know.
Yeah, y'all could suck it if y'all think we lazy. But I mean, it's been a crazy time of doing all this stuff, and I think if anything, I think if there's one thing that I taught Danielle in life, is not that she wasn't, but it would be to fully take on like a big risk that you want.
Well, yeah, for whatever reason, I guess it kind of clicked a little bit before I met you. Even things like I can paint my house my own, whatever color I want. Like stuff like that is like took a little bit from like I can do what I want.
You're an adult now. You do whatever you want.
Yeah, there's just something about that it took a little bit to click, and you did. Like, it started a little bit right before I met you, and then you came into my life, and it was, like, fully like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, take a risk, do what you want.
Yeah, what's funny is, this was, like, in our very early talking stage. I think we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but I can't tell you what brought it up. But I was like, what's, like, a big dream of yours? And you're like, I would like to buy a van and have it to travel, take my dog with me, and go travel and hike and do all that stuff.
I don't even think we had met in person yet. And you're like, from what I hear, it's
not great.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to live in it. I just want to travel.
Yeah, and I was like, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
So, you're like, yeah, I have this amount of savings up right now. Like, do you think it's possible to buy a van and do this and blah, blah, blah? And I was like, yeah. But then we started talking and things got serious quick. She told me she loved me after the second date. And then she did.
Nuh-uh.
It wasn't out loud, but you told me. But, you know, things kind of progressed with us, and it really wasn't at that point we were like, okay, you live this lifestyle, I've lived this lifestyle. How do we merge? Do I move into the house at town? I'm already in the point where I'm not trying to live at the original off-grid. I'm not going to... It would be weird, because we're not married or anything, we just started dating, but it'd be weird if I went and bought land and it's not something you really wanted.
Yeah.
Because then the relationship, it could really go very well at that point. Because then it's when you get serious, it's like, okay, well then sell what the property you just bought. You know, whatever it may be. So then we were just like, well, what if we buy property together? We started doing all this stuff. We jumped the gun. Don't recommend it for all y'all young people out there getting in relationships. Go slow.
What?
We were already older. I'm saying
okay.
The young people.
Yeah.
Preston, I know you're watching. You walk by and you're like, well, me and my girl, we're going to... No, don't. Just take it slow.
That is very true. There's a difference between you when you're younger
we were
versus
already
older. We've already gone through major life lessons.
Yeah.
And
we knew exactly what we wanted in life. Mostly. And so at that point, we were focusing more on that. And then one of the, we started doing a bunch of stuff at big risk of, buying land and doing stuff. And when you take a big risk, there's a huge reward, but there's also huge things that go wrong. As you guys know, we've gone through both. The big rewards was we've learned a lot. We had a lot of fun times. Some of the most fun times we've had was on Shoot Dang Ranch.
Oh, yeah.
And then the channel, it did very well for the channel. It did all that stuff. A lot of the bad, I don't think we need to hash that out. It's been, enough out there for the whole world to see everything. We went through it all, and now we're here, and we're comfortable, and we took all these big risks. We did stuff. We took the big risk buying this property and starting completely over again. We took the big risk of going with a completely different type of house. We took a big risk of doing all sorts of stuff. We took a massive risk with our friendship of leaving Lambo at Juno's house for as long as he was there. That one worked out better than we expected.
Shout out to Juno's, amazing people.
Yeah. We took all these risks, and then now we're at the point where life is slowing down. Life is getting a little more comfortable. We are still trying to build a house, still trying to build this property, but it's a little more, we're here, we're comfortable, we're better. And then now we actually can start building out a camping vehicle of what you always wanted. I'm a dream maker. And, but it is one of those, it's like, we want to get to the point where we can actually go travel for longer periods of time. Of course, this place has to be a lot more set up, and we got to have someone here that can stay a little more long term and do all that stuff. But we'll get there, however that may pan out. But we had to take a lot of risk even before we even met each other to get where we're at. And the moral of the story is, I think we screwed up along the way. But we could sit here and complain about it because we weren't lazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just real big, and I think everyone that has watched for a long time knows that I'm real big on taking risk. And before anybody knew me, I used to be a very shy person, not very confident in myself, would never take a risk. I wouldn't even drive an hour to the next big town because the highways were too big, and I was kind of worried about that. I was just not the same person I am over the last several years on YouTube that you guys got to know. But when you take your first big risk, everything after that seems like nothing. It really is just kind of like so much easier to be like, screw it, let's try this. And even when it fails, who cares? Let's try this now. Oh, that didn't work. Who cares? Let's try this now. I would rather take risks throughout my whole life and it fails, but I know that I tried, than to not do it. There's so many people that I know that never ever take risks. They never go after what they want. They never fully sacrifice something.
Or just try.
Exactly, to get where they want to be. It's like, especially, this is where it just gets me. For people that don't have a lot going on, what do you have to lose? What are you so worried about it not working? Say if you just have this mundane job you already hate, it doesn't probably pay a whole lot, you don't have really any hobbies outside of that, you're not really doing anything, what are you losing? What are you really losing? There's so many, every job out there is hiring. I mean, this is the time to take a risk because you just go get another job. Go live your life. I love seeing, we flip through YouTube and we watch anything from, people building unique houses to Tammy buck banks and, stuff like that, to people building out camping rigs. Some people are actually living out of theirs and doing stuff. There was a neurosurgeon that just quit his job. I think this is the time in life that most people are finally, it's clicking. I ain't got to stick around for something I'm not happy. And
especially in today's climate, it's
hot.
Well, this world, I don't know, it's crazy out there. You never really know what tomorrow is going to bring.
The world's falling apart. You might as well have fun while you can.
Yeah.
It is true. Now, we're not saying go do something stupid. Don't go get rid of all your money, sell everything you got to buy something, and then you still always
You
need
still
a
gotta
backup
think about
plan.
your future.
Yeah, you still got to have a backup plan if it doesn't work. Don't go do it recklessly. Before I bought my first piece of property and put that shed on it, try to do all that, I spent an entire year researching and try to save money, research, try to figure out. I mean, I'm the person that I think you're the same way, and that's why it's a problem. It's great, but it's a problem. I'm more of like, screw it, let's do it. And you're more of like, once I dip my toes in, I ain't turning back. It's more of, I obsess over it. And when I figure out something that I want to do, that's all I'll think about, and I will obsess over it, and I will research, and I'll look into it, and I'll come up with different paths. If I do this, what will happen? If I do this, what will happen? If this is going here, how can I turn it here? How can I meet in the middle of both of these? Whatever. And I will daydream about it over and over and over. And Danielle is the type that's like, I ain't thinking about it unless we doing it.
Yeah, because I know myself, once I start thinking about it, I'm the same
Then
way.
you obsess over it.
And I obsess over it, and that's all I can think about.
But then if it doesn't happen, you get bummed out.
Yeah, so that's why it's like I don't let myself go there to start even thinking about it until like I know something will happen.
Oh yeah,
then I can get obsessed.
I have fully obsessed over looking into living on a houseboat, living out in the woods somewhere, doing this lifestyle.
We live in the woods.
Different woods, baby. I want to see some mountains. Just different every lifestyle you can think, because I don't know, again, my brain isn't like everybody's, or I'll say most people's. There's so many things that I want to do, and most people are like, you just can't make up your mind, or you're just too wishy-washy, or whatever. I love playing guitar. I wish I could play guitar every day. We had the drum set. I want to play drums every single day. I want to write music and record music every single day. I want to create funny, awesome videos, and then with special effects. I want to do that. I love building. I love the animals. I love riding dirt bikes. I want to fix the boat. There's so many things that I truly, fully enjoy. I just don't have enough time to do it. And it's not that I can't make up my mind, or I'm too wishy-washy, or I am all over the place, but it's because I fully enjoy it. And this is the one thing that blows my mind. This is how I know to stay away from somebody. If I ask somebody, what's your hobby? And they don't have one, you're weird to me. How can you not? I have 800 hobbies. How can you not have one thing
that makes you happy,
that you like would want to obsess over and want to do for fun, and not just work, watch TV, sleep, and repeat? And so many people do that.
Well, maybe
all
watching
day,
TV
every day.
is their
That's
hobby.
Crazy to me, though. That's crazy. I understand it.
Yeah,
but
maybe they start watching Survivor.
That's not a hobby. Go be on Survivor. Go try to survive somewhere. That's a hobby. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. I get when you're in older age, you can only do so much. I'm not referring to you guys. I'm referring to able-bodied people that can do stuff and just choose not to. It blows my mind. But as much as it sucks having this type of brain, and I want to do all these things, and sometimes it puts me behind, and I'm wanting to do this when I should be doing this or whatever. I think it's because of that, and the way our brains work is the reason why we're in this position, doing stuff and chasing the dream and doing something that's different than your average house. And a lot of people do live this lifestyle, but there's probably way more people that wish they did but just don't, never even tried it. There's probably a lot of people that want to have camping rigs and don't do it, or go camping, or whatever. That's like a big thing. Y'all got me on a rant. It's like a big thing right now too, of 12 trips in 12 months, because both of us are very spontaneous. We didn't know we were going to that grain bin until literally, or you all saw it play out in video the way it really happened. And someone even comments like, that's what I love about you guys. You never know what's going to happen. And that's how our life was. Now it's not as much because we got some responsibilities and stuff.
Yeah.
But we're trying to get back to that. And I do understand people have kids or whatever. It's not as easy. But I tell Danielle all the time, I'm like, man, if we have a kid, I'd want that kid to like do these things with us. I would want to take the kid with us to go hiking or whatever. Yeah, an infant's kind of hard, but you can still do stuff.
Oh, my sister-in-law did it with Livia.
Yeah.
I'll never forget one. It was us three, and this was when Olivia was a little bit smaller, obviously, like a baby. And my sister-in-law was just a beast. She just strapped her on, and then she went hiking in Colorado. Everything was like, you're freaking wild. But
if you want it bad enough,
yeah,
you'll make it happen. And I don't know, it's just stuff like that it really is cool. Even someone like that is, she's my sister-in-law, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
It sounds weird because it's not like your sister, but yeah, she's still my sister-in-law. Yeah. To have people like that, like that, are that type of people, is just good. And the more people you can get around, this is one thing. If you go around people that aren't doing anything, you're not going to do anything. You go around people that have already taken risks and already done stuff or into business or whatever it is, and you will watch them take different risks like it's nothing. You'd be like, how can they just do it so easy? Because they've done it so many times. They've failed so many times that it doesn't matter if you fail again, because you win more times than not. But you can learn to fail.
There's also like a growing in that.
Well, yeah, failing is good.
Yeah, there's a growing in that, and then you also get the maturity of knowing when to go off on a whim versus this is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
These, again, lessons have been learned along the way.
Yeah, you can't do it recklessly.
Yeah.
But if you've never done anything like that, and you go put yourself around some people that are adventurous, are taking risks, are business owners, are doing that type of stuff, you will change so fast. You will figure out so fast if you just ask them questions. And they're like, yeah, I guarantee you every person will be like, what was the worst that was going to happen? I'd just be back where I was? Who cares? Then just go to the next thing. Figure it out. Go after what you want. And hopefully, not that we're face to face, but hopefully through these videos, we encourage somebody to take a risk. I mean, I moved to the woods in a tent.
It was $20.
It was $20. And I started from nothing. We took a risk. Clearly, we still have the house in town. It is a backup. You got to play smart. We took a risk buying a property that was overgrown and building a shop up and doing all that stuff that literally was neglected forever, for years and years and years, and it'll probably be neglected now for years and years and years. But we took the risk, and yeah, a lot of bad things happened, but so many good things. I learned so much about building, so much. Okay. We learned so much how to work together. We learned so much how to do certain things and all of that.
The business of YouTube itself.
We learned so much in every aspect that it wasn't a fail. Not at all. We went through so much in 2 years that literally changed who we are as people, and just us in a relationship together. I didn't know relationships could be like this. I really didn't. Babe, I thought I was holding your hand. It's a little bottle. They couldn't see that. They thought I was holding your hand. I truly didn't think a relationship could be like this, to where you have two people that will take the risk, two people that will work for it, two people that at the beginning it was difficult, but we worked through it, to understand why the other person's reacting the way they're reacting. Just every aspect of it. I didn't think that existed. I truly didn't. And, you see TV shows and movies where it's like the perfect family, the perfect whatever, but that's not real life. Mm-hmm. And real life is very, very hard times. And to find somebody that is willing to go through those things and stick around and take a risk and do all these things. I was at the point where I was just like, I'm just going to be single. Like, I'm just truly going to be single. I'm not going to find...
After going through all that with me, you're like, I'm just going to be single.
Yeah. I messed up. I just wanted to go to Florida.
Yeah. I just wanted to go hang out with Mom.
Yeah.
And Grill Sergeant.
Yeah. I wanted that unlimited crab.
Yeah.
But, going through all that and stuff, it truly made us stronger, and it made it easier for us to work through stuff. And I literally, it's just so funny. It just makes me giggle. Flipping through little stories and stuff on Facebook while I'm pooping, it popped up, and it was this couple renovating their house, and it said, a couple who can renovate their house and make it through it can make it through anything. Well, I want to see you build the house from nothing. Start with a piece of property that's nothing, and put your whole life on the internet and let people destroy you.
That's a big part of it.
We will make it through anything. Yeah. I'll say that. We'll make it through anything.
And one of the people doesn't know anything about building, so
it was difficult. But with all that, it truly made us into a different person, into different people, into different ways to handle situations, to handle not even just with each other. How do you handle hate? How do you handle people not liking you? How do you handle what's that word? Criticism. What'd you say?
I can say we handle criticism all right.
Not at the first. How to handle
it's just learning that people
I got so much sawdust all up on my nose.
Yeah, people don't see things the way you do, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And again, just understanding that people aren't going to.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, and how to handle just the worst situations and stuff. We are definitely not failed at any of this. We have learned so much. It's only a failure, really, and it sounds so stupid and cheesy. It's only a failure if you didn't learn something from it. But it's true.
But it's like all those cheesy sayings, they are true. It's
Someone just wrapped them up in a real cheesy way.
Yeah, and then also, it's almost like overplayed too much. It's said too much to where sometimes it does like lose its meaning, its value, but
yeah.
I mean, it's there for a reason.
The only way to wrap that up is like a Nickelback song. Everybody knows Nickelback, and at one point you kind of liked Nickelback, but then so many people bashed Nickelback, and it just became a thing where it's just like, yeah, Nickelback kind of, you like Nickelback?
I think Nickelback is back though, baby.
Back like a new album?
No, like coming back around. People are rocking out to it again.
Well, I was about to say something that Creed is back. I saw him. He looks weird. He got a lot of surgery or something done. I don't know. But it is just, I don't know. We've learned a lot. And as much as I wanted this to stop today and not do it and try to rethink something easier, and we could have come up with something easier and all that. And I'm glad we pushed through it. And now we're done with that part of it. We still have a lot more work to do, and we'll have to do it again, the same thing again later. But we pushed through and we made it. And that was a joint effort.
Biggest thing, we made it through on an empty stomach.
Yeah, my stomach's growling.
So hungry.
Yeah. You had a piece of beef jerky.
Yeah.
I didn't eat anything. I'm dying right now.
Yeah, I don't know how you're not passed out.
My stomach's growling. Yeah, that's where we're at. Did not expect it to go there, but hey, that's a Coffee with Crockers.
Get Jason just going.
Yeah.
You never know where.
You never know where you're going to get.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what y'all think of that tiny house grain bin at the moment. That'll be coming out a little bit later for us, and we'll jump in. I put it as a premiere. Just curious what you guys think in the moment, and it's easier for us to kind of see your reaction right there than like at some other points we're always driving to get materials or we're working or whatever. It's hard to really go through all the comments sometimes. So doing a premiere is like a quick, we can figure out how y'all feel about it, and yeah, and so very curious what you guys think about that.
And then today, as you guys later today, we'll be behind the scenes on Crocker Life.
Yeah.
Of being there.
Yeah, we saved that one.
Yeah.
So we got some stuff planned for you guys, and then we're gonna keep working on this house, get as much done as we can, and just keep pushing. And hopefully, this video, somebody watched 50 minutes of this and was like, you know what, I have been waiting to do this. I've been holding myself back. I've been wanting to do this. I've been researching. I've been doing something. Take a step, whatever step that is. You ain't got to go full blown, but take a step forward in it, and you'll find out it's not that bad. Even if it seems like it at first, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? It's really not that bad. And you just have to go into it with the mindset of, if this doesn't work, it's okay. What would I do if it didn't work? But don't think about that while you're doing it. That's the prep ahead of time. What would I do if this didn't work? You figure that out, and then now you figure out how to make it work. And when it's not working, you figure out how to make it work. And when it's not working, you figure out how to make it work until the point you will know when it's time to call it, when enough is enough. But just don't have that in your mind. Just have, this will work. I'll figure it out. If it's not, take a moment, come back to it. And normally that's when it starts to work out. When you let your emotions settle down, you start to figure out things, your mind's thinking clearly. So hopefully, if this was you and it helped you, push you to want to make your next step into whatever it is, I want to know what that is. Comment down below.
Comment down below.
So, Jason and Danielle, you just saved my life.
Wow.
I don't think I saved anyone's life, but yours I did. She always says, my life was good before I met you. I said, that's not a very nice thing to say. Well, I made it gooder.
Yeah, it was good before I met you.
But now it's gooder.
Yeah, now it's more better.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just better.
It's more better.
It can't be more better.
It's more better.
It's just better or better.
It's more better.
It's not more better.
Yeah.
No.
It's more better than it was.
That's like, it's more hotter.
Yeah.
It's just hotter.
It's more hotter.
Oh my God. You can tell she
Just
grew up in
kidding.
Oklahoma. And Kentucky.
Yeah, I got the double whammy on me.
Yeah.
But I can graduate #1 in my nursing class, so.
Yeah, so I married up. Alright guys, we'll catch you on the next one.